Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you, as it always is. I hope you're doing good. We move into what will be day 3 now, over in Eastbourne and in Mallorca. As always, we will be sure to go through each and every one of these matches today, see if there's anything we like. Be sure to get your predictions in the comments as we go. Anything I'm going for personally will be in that pinned comment. Make sure you're checking that out. And before we get started, I will ask you to like the video. I'll also ask you to get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. I'd appreciate that. If you want to support the channel, there is a link in that pinned comment, or you can just hit the thanks under the video. It's entirely up to you. Don't feel obliged. But now that's out the way, how did we get on in day 1? Quick apologies, really fast. I was very slow getting back to the replies yesterday. That's even to the ones that I did reply to. I had some stuff to do today. I will try my best to reply to you all in this one, guarantee that. But how did we get on? Day 1, fairly successful for me, 2-1 so far. I had Lorenzo Sonego to get it done against Fabio Madison, happy days. I had Ethan Quinn and Medjedovic to win a set. Ethan Quinn to win, Medjedovic for a set on 1. And then I had a go on Justin Engel. It would have been nice to get all 3, but 2 out of 3 sure ain't bad. Nice little nugget of profit, not as much as I would have liked, but you have to admit a better start than last week. I will most definitely try to build on that over the next coming days. But get yourself involved. Did you win? Did you lose? Did you come close? And now that is out the way, let's get it on over in Eastbourne. First off, got Alexander Vukic and James Duckworth. Now, these are still the rest of the first round, so I'm not going to waste too much time on these. I'd be going with Alexander Vukic. If I had to touch this one, I don't think I will be. Dare I say, he's probably just a little bit more trustworthy on the grass. That's even if you could say that. He has been far from trustworthy this season. 12 wins, 20 losses on the year, as opposed to his opponent, 20 wins, 17 losses, a bit more solid. From James Duckworth, head-to-head is 2-1 to Alexander Vukic. He has won the last 2 times, one last year, one the year before. James Duckworth did beat him in 2019. All of these coming on the hard court. Never played each other on the grass. As I always say, that does change things just a little bit. I'd say I wouldn't be touching this. Both of them have looked fairly decent in qualifying. I do think the surface on the day probably does suit Vukic a little bit more than what it does James Duckworth, but I can't trust him. I can't trust him. This guy's been well off the boil all season. I don't think I could do much business with this one personally. It would have to be Alexander Vukic or nothing. So we will waste no more time with that, and we'll move on to George Loffhagen and Rally Opelka. This is another one. This should be an interesting one too. Now, I don't really know what's going on with this one. This one opened up around 3.75 for the Brit. Massive dog. It currently sits around 2.3. That's on Bet365 for those that care. That is quite the drop. Quite the drop indeed. Rally Opelka is now 1.7. That's a bit, I don't know. Starts off at 1.3, turns out at 1.7 in a matter of a day. Now, I'd love the Brits to come out. I'd love George to come out and keep this one close. Probably even win this one. I think it'll be quite some ask to expect him to do that. He did look decent through qualifying. Both of them in straight sets. There was a tiebreaker against MacDonald and a tiebreaker against Billy Harris. He's actually come back as a lucky loser, but decent enough wins. Do we think this lad has played anyone who serves quite like Rally Opelka? I wouldn't have thought so. It's the same story with Rally Opelka all the time. Like, what version of him is going to turn up? How fit's he going to be? Personally, I would have to admit, I do think he should have more than enough to get this one done just on experience alone. Opelka's a nightmare to play against. Them service games are anyway. We tend to see more often than not, if Opelka comes ready to play, they come down to the finest of margins anyway. He's tough to break. You usually get a tiebreaker out of him. Not to say we'll get one today. I would have probably had a sprinkle on George Loffhagen plus the points, but it's been absolutely hammered, so I feel like it may only be around 2.5. I don't know how I feel about taking that. As far as a bet, I would definitely have to stay off this one. Maybe just have a look at it. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know what the total will be. I would have to assume Opelka to get this one done, but I'm not picking that with much conviction whatsoever. So we will move on to Nuno Borges and Jack Pinnington Jones. This is another one too. Are the bookies this scared of the Brits on the grass? I don't really know. Nuno Borges, he ain't been too good on the grass so far, 2-2, as opposed to the British lad here, 5-3. Both of them are on a 2-game losing streak. Currently, we've seen Nuno Borges last time out against Batista Agut, the time before that against Hugo Humbert. Do we think he gets it done here? Do we think he gets it done in this one? I wouldn't be too sure. Once again, quite a lot of money coming in on the Brit on this one. I mean, we are on the grass. We are in London. Would it be that much of an upset to see Nuno Borges crap this one away? Probably not, right? I feel like, based on experience alone, and if these rankings mean anything, I feel like Nuno Borges probably shouldn't be getting beat here. But crazier things have happened. Sitting at 37 in the world, as opposed to his opponents, 282 in the world. Yeah. I say he's a bit more seasoned. At tall level, you would have to expect Nuno Borges probably should be getting this one done, but I could not trust him at the moment. Once again, I'd love to take Pinnington Jones plus some points either which way you can. I'd have to just sit and watch. I'm not too convinced he's going to turn up and just bully Nuno Borges. He could do. But like I say, 2-game losing streak. He can't beat Tristan Schoolcase. He can't beat Emilio Nave. What are the odds you get past Nuno Borges? I don't know. Like I say, maybe come tomorrow when all's said and done, we'll look back at this and go, wow, 1.6, touching on 1.7 for Nuno Borges was an absolute bargain yesterday. I don't know. I say I'd love all the Brits to win today, obviously. Do I think they will? Probably not. Massive ask, especially in a spot like this. So just keep your eye on this. Could be a little bit tighter than what you'd expect. Not too sure what that total is going to be. Yeah. No, I won't waste any more time on it. But it would have to be Nuno Borges. As much as it pains me to admit it, I couldn't go with Pinnington Jones tomorrow. I haven't seen enough. Probably seen more on the grass this year, but probably shouldn't be beating someone as highly ranked as Nuno Borges. But we shall move on to Luciano Darderi and Marcus Giron. This should be interesting too. Head to head is 1-0 to the Italian. That was in Houston last year over on the clay. Quite an arse beating as well. Bagel and 6-4. I think Darderi I reckon he'll load up alright in this too. He's quite a big dog as well. 2.7 I'm currently looking at. I don't know, man. I mean, neither one have got a win on the clay. Neither one of these have a win on the grass. Fucking brain turn to porridge then. So far this season, we've seen Marcus get on last time out against Zverev over in Germany, and he got his ass handed to him. 6-2, 6-1. Darderi's played twice. He did get beat by Nicolas Jarry in Den Bosch. It was a decent match. A lot closer than what we expected, probably. Tiebreaker in the third. You know, what a way to decide it. And not only that, I thought he looked decent against Tsitsipas as well. Last time out, over in Germany. I was very impressed with what I've seen. We did throw the spread out there. We had a dabble with the spread with Darderi. I think it was 3.5. he more than covered that. Once again, third set tiebreaker to decide it. I think if you can keep it that close with the likes of a Nicholas Jarry, with the likes of a Stefanos Tsitsipas, I'd fancy your chances, and I imagine Darderi fancies his chances against Marcus Giron today. I don't know, it's just food for thought. It is just food for thought. I think depending on where you're from is probably going to sway your decision on this one. I think Marcus Giron beats him 1.48, 1.47. I'm not that sure. I'm not 1.47 sure Marcus Giron turns up here and beats this guy. I'm really not. Like, alright, I lost to Zverev, and arse beaten by Zverev's not. There's no shame in that. He could just turn up and look a hell of a lot better. Maybe Darderi will be a bit of an easier task for him. You would assume anyway. But I don't know, like I say, I feel like if he turns up and plays the way he did against Tsitsipas, he is in for more than a shout against Marcus Giron today. 2.6, 2.7, it'd have to be. I couldn't take Marcus Giron. Not at 1.47. Absolutely not. It would have to be the Italian or nothing in that. Bite the bullet, take him for a set. I can't see him getting walloped in straight sets by the American. That's just my opinion. But we'll crack on to Alexander Bublik and Francisco Comesana, staying well away from this one. Staying well away. Regardless of the form of Alexander Bublik, he's been fantastic. We keep saying it. Coming off that title last week over in Germany. Alexander Muller, Sinner, Thomas Mahac, Kachanov, Medvedev, straight sets in the final. Easy. He should have no problem taking out Comesana on the grass. But that's just what we say every time, innit? That's what we say every time. Even though he probably should get past him with relative ease, this is someone who we can most definitely say, even though we did mention in yesterday's video, hardly any one of these I think stands a chance at winning Wimbledon. Now that Alcaraz is, well, I say now that he's in stride, but since that Alcaraz is around, I don't think the likes of Bublik's going to win Wimbledon. But you try telling that to them, they're most definitely going to save themselves and fancy themselves in that tournament as opposed to this. Is he going to go all out the week before Wimbledon? I'm not so certain. Now, I know that he's a lot better and he should be beating Comesana, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he will. We've seen this time and time again with so many different players. Back-to-back tournaments. They should win. They don't. They're going to save themselves for the big one. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in this. Realistically, Bublik should be the winner, but Comesana, big dog, big spread. Have a little sprinkle on that. I don't know. Bublik might just turn up and just wipe the floor with him. He probably should do. If it's that, if the going gets tough, how much effort are we going to see out of him prior to Wimbledon? I'm not so certain. He's currently sitting around 1.2 to 1.3. That seems like a bit of a steep price in order to find out the commitment levels for this tournament from Bublik, so I'm going to pass on that. And we've got Billy Harris and Cam Norrie. Forgot this one was happening. It was supposed to be Gio and Pecci Pericard, but he must have pulled out. Billy Harris, lucky loser. I don't touch these ones either. Realistically, Cam Norrie should be too much for this guy on the day. 1.4 for Cam Norrie. He's just much more experienced, much more proven. Like I said, Billy Harris didn't even qualify for this tournament. But how many times do we see people not qualify, get gifted a lucky loser, and then go on a nice little run? Seen it happen a few times, haven't we? Especially this season. Do you think he's going to pull it off against Norrie? I don't know. Got ourselves an all-British shootout here. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. It is what it is. I'd have to assume Cam Norrie has just got more in the bag to get this one done. I say 61 in the world for Norrie, and then 142 for Billy Harris. Not much to go off other than what we've seen in the past. It has to be Cam Norrie. It has to be. I'm not saying better. Obviously, you know me. If it's pinned, it's pinned. If it's not, it's not. If it ain't in that pinned comment, I ain't touching it. Billy Harris has won 3 of his last 10. Cam Norrie's won 7 of his last 10. There you go. Simple. Take Cam Norrie. I mean, maybe at 1.35, maybe not. But I would have to assume he gets that one done. And then we'll wrap this shit up with Jacob Fearnley and Flavio Cobolli. Quite a few British ones playing today. I'm looking forward to sitting here watching these. It'll be a nice little day of tennis for me. Jacob Fearnley currently winning 5 of his last 10. Flavio Cobolli winning 8 of his last 10. Now, I know Jacob Fearnley's alright on the grass. Well, he looks like he can be fairly decent on the grass too. I think Flavio Cobolli's a bit of a sleeper on the grass. We know he probably suits the clay. Started off a bit shit on the hard court. Hit his stride on the clay, got himself a couple titles, and then coming over onto the grass, he looks fairly decent too. Was a dog against Fonseca, he got that one done. Dog against Chapo, got that one done. And then obviously, big dog against Zverev, didn't manage to get that one done, but there's no shame in that. Jacob Fearnley last time out, we've seen him get done by Jiri Lehečka. And then he managed to get past Bolt and Mutet over in Queens. Fell short of Binach, didn't he, over in Stuttgart. Yeah, he took that first set and then it began to unravel. Kills me to say it now, you know me. Big Jacob Fearnley fan. I have high hopes for this guy for the future. Most definitely come on a lot over the past season. I think Flavio Cobolli wins this one. I do. I think Flavio Cobolli wins this one. I don't know, depending on where you are in the world, I don't know what the price is that you're getting for this. I do know over here, Jacob Fearnley opened up a couple of days ago, around 1.57. Call it 1.6. It's now over 1.8. Flavio Cobolli is barely evens now. He was a decent little dog when this first came out, 2.4. You're now just getting just about 2. You can get 2.5, 2.05 rather, 2.1. Yeah. I think he wins anyway. I do. I'd love Jacob Fearnley to win, but you don't need me to tell you that Flavio Cobolli is just a better player. He's just a better player. Maybe not a better player on the grass. We'll certainly find this out tomorrow, but as of right now, in the current day, I would have to assume Flavio Cobolli has got more than enough to get it done against a Jacob Fearnley. Like I say, you can beat the likes of Arnaldi, Rublev, fucking Davidovich, Fokina, Fonseca, El Chapo. You should be able to get past Jacob Fearnley. This will be the test. I'm just saying, Flavio Cobolli as a dog in this doesn't really make much sense to me, other than the fact you might say Jacob Fearnley is playing at home. I don't know, a Brit on the grass in Britain, is that sort of swaying the price? I'm not too sure. I say it seems to have neutralised itself a little bit now. 1.57 as an opening line for Jacob Fearnley. I can't help but feel like that's just a little bit disrespectful to the young Italian in this one, but you let me know your thoughts on that. And that'll do us over in London, and then we'll crack on over in Spain, and then I will let you get on with your day. Excuse me. Who've we got? This shouldn't take much time, well, much more time compared to the last ones. We've got Tomic and Dinky. Oh God, don't make me try and predict a winner out of these two. I didn't even realise Tomic was still playing. I thought he got banned or something. I don't know what happened to him, but he's here anyway, nonetheless. Getting Dinky around 1.45. I don't know. You know what I say, folks, something stinks in the garden with this one. 15 wins, 20 losses for Dinky, and then 18 wins, 16 losses for Tomic. I couldn't tell you. I haven't watched a single Bernard Tomic game all season, and for that fact, I don't think I've watched Dinky either. I don't really think I have to. Don't think I have to at all. These have never played each other before. To my surprise, I thought they would have at least had one against each other. Tomic never does fucking anything on the grass. Neither does Dinky really, but he tends to play a little bit more than him. I say that. What am I even doing? Tomic just doesn't even play on the grass, does he? 0-1 last year, didn't play the year before. 0-1, 1-1, 3-6. Year missed. Oh yeah. what you do with this guy. You can't even trust this guy when you think you can. So, for one time and one time only, I can't believe I'm saying these words, but it would have to be Rinky Hijikata or nothing in that one. Yeah, absolutely not. That one stinks. I couldn't trust either one of them. Oh, there's a huge fucking spider in the corner there. That's alright. I'm not scared of him or nothing, but he's really big, and he's on the move too. Don't worry about. I want to show you the size. That this is fucking huge. There'll be people all over the world going, I bet it's not that big. Brother, this is massive. I need to keep my eye on it because I don't want it to just disappear and then I'm just chilling with it then. It's whatever, it's alright, he's just there. Who've we got? We've got Benjamin Bonzi. And then we've got Brandon Holt, is that? It is indeed. These have played each other once before. That was last year as well on the Challenger Tour. On the hard court, that went the way of the Frenchman. 60, he's fast as fuck him. 6-3 and a tiebreaker to the French one. Reckon he wins this one? I don't know. I think Brandon Holt's been decent. He looked good in qualifying. 2-1 against Adam Walton. Straight sets against Aliassime. A couple tiebreakers in them. 3 tiebreakers out of the 2 matches. Last time out, we seen Benjamin Bonzi get beat by Quinton Hallis over in Germany. He was a bit somewhat passive in that one. I'm seeing Benjamin Bonzi around 1.6. Call it 1.6. I seen this yesterday at around 1.3. It is now all the way over to 1.65, just about. Seems like people quite fancy the American in this. He's not too bad on the grass. He's not too bad. Overall, 37 wins, 17 losses for him. 5-3 on the grass. 29-11 on the hard court, so he does prefer the quicker conditions. As opposed to Benjamin Bonzi, 14 wins, 15 losses. Quite subpar, but that has been the story of the season so far for Benjamin Bonzi. It seems like every time we mention him, we kind of say the same thing. I expected a lot more, just hasn't been able to deliver. Probably wouldn't mind Brandon Holt plus the points. Anyone plus a 2.5 if you can get it. If he thrives in these quicker conditions, you know, I fancy him to give Benjamin Bonzi a decent go anyway. You never know how he's going to turn up. I say, do I know enough about the American for 2.3, 2.4? Probably not. Once again, I would much rather stay away. Maybe take him for the set. I'd say play it safe. It's not really playing it safe, but if he's as good as what I'm being told he is, he should be good for at least that one set off of Benjamin Bonzi. He could even turn up and just blast him off the court. I'm not too sure, but that shall remain to be seen. And we've got Etcheverry and Bautista Agut. Well. It's very tough to go against Bautista Agut at the moment, based on what we've just seen at Queen's. Very fast conditions over in Queen's, and he managed perfectly in them. Nuno Borges, Jakob Mensah, Holger Rune, all in 3. Ended up getting to the semi-finals, but then he got beat by Alcaraz. Can you believe that? Leave Bautista Agut got to the semi-finals. Fair play to him. What are you going to say? Etcheverry got it done against Pedro Martinez. Got it done against Rublev. Somehow. I say somehow, but of course he did. Of course he got it done against Rublev, and he ran into Kachanov in the quarters, and he didn't quite have what it took in that. Like I said, it's, you know me, I'm not really one for betting on Bautista Agut. And the way the past few weeks or the past few months have been going, I'm not becoming a fan of betting against them either. I'm really not. Like I said at the start, and I continue to say it throughout with this guy, he has most definitely got wins left in the tank. It's just when they come. If you can get on the right side of them, you're laughing all the way to the bank. But trying to predict when these wins are going to come have proven to be a bit tougher than I would have imagined. Like I say, don't really fancy going against the Spaniard in this one, playing in his home tournaments as well. Surely he's got to be a bit of inspiration for Batista Agut in this one. 1.5 to 1.6, depending where you look. Quite a nice little chunk of cash coming in on the Spaniard. I fully expected that. If he plays, I say as solid as what he did against Holger, he just had to play tennis. That was it. If he can just come up, hold his shit the way he did against Holger, I imagine he's got more than enough to get it done against Etcheverry. He's much more proven on the surface. It would be the Spaniard or nothing in that one. And then we've got a few more. I'm looking forward to this one. We've got Roman Safiullin and Hamad Medjedovic. That's right. These have never played each other before, to my surprise. I say to my surprise, not really. How do we think this one's going to go? We expected both of these. Oh, the Spada's disappeared. He's disappeared, you bastard. He's completely gone as well. Oh, well. Not to worry. Yeah, we expected both of these to win the first round. Roman Safiullin against Alexander Muller. Bit of a closer game. Closer game than the Medjedovic one, but like we say, Muller's a bit of a tricky customer on the day. But we did expect Roman Safiullin to be victorious in that one. Same with Medjedovic against Nishesh. He came out and just munched on that kid, didn't he? Bagel in the first, 6-4 in the second, easy as you like. Now, prior to this, Medjedovic didn't look too great on the grass over in Queens, but he's most definitely found what he's been looking for over here. Now, they're pitted against each other. How will this one go? I like Medjedovic in this, I do. I like Medjedovic in this. I am fully aware that Roman Safiullin is a tricky customer, especially on the grass. But I probably would have to go with Hamad Medjedovic in this one. Younger, stronger. Is he better? Perhaps. Perhaps only just according to the rankings, 73 to 75. I don't know, man. He looked very, very strong today against Nishesh, and I told you, didn't I? I told you it'd be too much for him. He was just going to come and blast him off the court. That's exactly what he done. He just couldn't do anything with the power. I'm expecting more of the same today from Medjedovic. I really am. He tends to thrive in these tournaments. He's good when we see him. He tends to play good. He really does. We ain't saying much over on the clay. I'll give him that. 11-2 indoors, 1-1 hard court, 6-5 on the clay, 1-1 on the grass. I feel like the play style of Medjedovic most definitely does suit the grass. We just haven't seen a lot of him on it the past couple of years. Very small sample size to deal with. Not much more from Roman Safiullin, rather 14-11 on the career, 8-5 for Medjedovic. I just think the ceiling of Medjedovic is a lot higher than Roman Safiullin. I do. If he can stand behind that serve like he done today, there'll be enough 3 points within that for him to get this one done. And it's Roman Safiullin. You've got to expect a couple of errors, a couple of dips in concentration somewhere along the way. Now, according to this, I'm currently seeing Hamad Medjedovic around 1.8. Is that right? 1.8. This is more or less split down the middle, and I don't know if there's something wrong with that. If you wanted to play this one safe, I'd say Hamad Medjedovic just for the one set. Me personally, I might just roll a dice and take Medjedovic on the money line. It's a good enough price. It really is. It's probably as good as you're going to get. It really is. Do I risk it and wait till nearer the time to see if this shortens even more? I don't know. 1.84. I think that might be as good as it's going to get today. You pick your poison, you pay your money, and you take your choice. You let me know what you think on that. Could be in for a little overspot. I imagine this one will be a lot closer than what the game was against Basafareddy yesterday, but I wouldn't mind. I had a fairly decent day in the first round. It is still the first round, although this one is technically part of the round of 16. I'd be siding with the Serb in that one. I'll be going with Medjedovic to get that one done. And then a couple more. We've got Gabe Diallo and Laszlo Djere. Just when you thought Gabe Diallo may not really need to do much this week, he turns up and he looked very good against a very inspired Jamie Munar, and I thought Jamie Munar held his own for quite some time as well. He looked decent enough, probably done all that he could do against someone in the current form as Gabe Diallo. This guy's been great, hasn't he? You don't need me to tell you. We've been watching Gabe Diallo ever since he's come on the grass. He flew through Den Bosch. He looked decent enough in Queens until he bumped into Lechka. There's no shame in getting beat by him that week. And then he's come over to Mallorca, and he's back to winning ways. Back to winning ways. He now plays Laszlo Djere. These have played each other once before, back in the Davis Cup in 2022. And now that was quite the beatdown for Gabe Diallo by Laszlo Djere on the day. But we all know the improvements this lad has made. Fantastic, phenomenal, unbelievable improvements. Look, I suppose this applies. I said it about the Bublik match. I'll say it about this one while it's still Diallo. You know, I don't really know how comfortable I am taking him in this tournament. I suppose I can't really use the excuse if they don't want to be here. I mean, they're still here. If you don't want to be here, you're not going to win your first round match that convincingly, I suppose. Now, it's not just me. I think I speak for the majority of us when I say I don't really fancy going against Gabe Diallo at the moment. I really don't. And I most certainly don't feel like just guessing on when he may or may not run out of steam. He's young, he's fit, he's in great shape. He comes to play. Simple, what more could you ask for? I'm seeing Diallo here at 1.5. 1.5. Seems to be good enough, would you say? Good enough considering the form. Laszlo Djere looked decent enough against Boo, but maybe that's not saying that much. He looked decent in qualifying for Hull. Had a closest game with Felix. He was snared in he was a bit snared in Den Bosch. Got beat by Mark Leal. 3-2 so far on the grass, not too bad. 7-1 for Diallo. Like I said, maybe Laszlo Djere could prove to be a bit of a tougher task than I'm imagining, but you can't go against Big Gabe at the moment, can you? You just can't. He's just beating the shit out of everyone. I would imagine Laszlo Djere is just going to be another victim to the Diallo penitentiary today, folks. I really do. And then we've got Ethan Quinn and Talon Griekspoor. I was very, very happy with Ethan Quinn today. Put in a really good performance against Hugo Carabelli. I kind of knew he would. How's he going to get on against Talon Griekspoor now that the odds are completely reversed? We're getting Talon Griekspoor around 1.4 to 1.5. He did open up around 1.3, more or less. Little bit of cash coming in on the American. Maybe look at him on the spread. Like I say, he was strong enough through qualifying. Kind of scraped through them. A lot more convincing today against a player who has never actually won a game on the grass in his entire life. So yeah, maybe that's not saying that much. Today they played each other once before. That was in the French Open this year as well, not that long ago. 3-2 to Talon Griekspoor, very, very close. Very close indeed. The Ethan Quinn sets were a lot closer than the Griekspoor ones, I'll give you that. 6-4 and a tiebreak to Ethan Quinn. 6-1, 6-1, 6-4 to Talon Griekspoor. Just about edging that one out. Not in sets, but just on the scoreboard. I think he gets this one done. We haven't seen him on the grass so far. We have yet to see Talon Griekspoor on the grass so far that season. So I'm afraid the formula would have to remain the same as what it's been since we've come over to the surface. I'm just going to sit on this and see how he looks transitioning to the grass. Ethan Quinn, like I say, you've already seen what? 1, 2, 3, 4 games. He went 3-1 so far on the grass. I wouldn't mind. Kid's good. 33 and 16 on the year, as opposed to Griekspoor 23 and 13. Obviously, we see a lot more out of Griekspoor at tall level, but I don't know. Maybe this is the time. Maybe it's time for Ethan Quinn. Start putting a dent in the tour. Start putting a little stamp on it. I'm not against it whatsoever. I wouldn't mind him winning this one. Do I think he's going to? Most definitely a big ask, but we'll see how Griekspoor turns up today. And then wrapping this one up for tonight, we've got Arthur Rinderknech and Felix Auger Aliassime. Okay then. Okay then, Felix, what am I to do with you in this one? Anyone taking Felix today? Anyone taking Felix today? You'd look at this one, and this is just the type of match that you'd look at and say, oh yeah, Felix, it's got to be right. I don't know. I'm not so sure. Artur Rinderknech has been... He's been pulling off some mad shit lately, has he not? 3-1 in his last 4, not too bad. 5-3 on the grass so far, as opposed to 3-2 on the grass for Felix. If Artur Rinderknech just turns up and serves really, really strong, I feel like he could definitely keep this one close. You don't need me to tell you that one. Felix last time out got beat by Khachanov. It was a close game, 2-1 in that. But even prior to the Khachanov match, the game against Laszlo Djere was a bit... he had a medical timeout early on and that, then he dropped the set and then he come back and fisted them. It's very hard to get a read on Felix. It always has been, and I fear that it may always be that way. Not too sure. Realistically, just looking at it for what it is, he should be beating him. He's got more in the bag than Artur Rinderknech, but Artur Rinderknech is one of them players. He probably doesn't possess as many tools as, say, a Felix Auger-Aliassime. That's a fact. But what he does well. He does very well. And he's been very hard to break, especially on these slicker conditions. Now, obviously, these courts over in Mallorca aren't as quick as the ones we seen last week over in Queens. But with that being said, they are still pretty fast. And we all know this guy can serve just as hard as the rest of them. If he starts putting that in, I fear Felix may very well struggle to return them, just like everyone does. Maybe have a look at Rinderknech on their points, have a look at a total games played, have a look at it over, or even just a tiebreaker. You know what he's like. But I don't fancy taking Felix. Around 1.3, 1.4 seems like quite a little bit of a price to pay to find out if he's going to turn up or not, with Wimbledon right around the corner. So that's going to do us. That will do us once again. Very well, folks. I'm going to be saying good night to you. I apologise for the late upload, and I apologise for the lack of replies in yesterday's video. I'll get you for tonight. Okay then, you take it easy, you take care of yourselves, you take care of one another, you let me know what you're going for, and as always, I'll let you know what I'm going for. Pin, comment, get on it. Any questions, then get on me. Best of luck, yeah. Enjoy the matches today. Let's try and build on what was a fairly successful first day. Let's go get it, yeah. Let's go get it. Enjoy the tennis, enjoy the matches today, and I'll see you tomorrow.